So I just finished watching season 2 of the original series. Wow. I was really impressed for the most part. Like I've said before, going into this, I have been told so many times that Star Trek was really cheesy, and the only people who I ever met that really loved it still acknowledge, like, yeah, there's some really bad episodes, but you gotta find those few gems in there, and you gotta sift through all these bad episodes to get to the good ones. Honestly, I don't think that was really the case for me. Were there bad episodes? Oh, yes, and I'm going to be getting to those. But I think the good overweighed the bad by and large. I went through all of season 2 again. I didn't rewatch it, I just went through my reviews and some synopses online. And I looked at all the episodes from the season, and I made a list of my favorite episodes and the ones I thought I just absolutely detested. And my favorite ones outnumber 2-1 as far as the ones I actually detested. And then the rest were just okay. They were nothing awful, they were nothing great. So, big question. What were my favorites and what were my most hated ones? My favorite episodes in this season, I'm going to break it down into kind of two categories real quick. My favorite serious episodes and my favorite funny episodes. Because I think they're both really great elements that make Star Trek a bigger picture than just going forward and doing sci-fi stuff. This is really the first sci-fi show I've seen chronologically that incorporated really good humor into its episodes. So, the more serious ones that I really liked, Amok Time, Kirk versus Spock, that iconic battle that we had there, and that music from that fight scene gets used through the rest of this series, and you know as soon as that music kicks in, something is about to happen. And I love that music. I really, really like it. So Amok Time, not only that, but we got to see the Vulcans as a people for the very first time. That was really cool. I like that. We got to see that there's more to Spock than just very logical. He does come from culture that has art and has beauty to it. Just a more logical approach to why they do it. Mirror, Mirror. I really like this episode as well. This, of course, with Spock's beard in it. Not the band, but I just thought that was really well crafted episode. And I've said before, I remember going back to season 1 when we had Evil Kirk. I do like episodes of shows in science fiction and fantasy when the actors get to play an evil version of themselves or a bad guy playing a good version of himself. Very Othello Iago sort of thing going on there, and I really dig it. And I thought Mirror Mirror was a wonderful example of that. A Private Little War. This was one that I really enjoyed. It was tough. I think this was one of the heaviest hitting episodes they've ever done. And it worked. It didn't really come off as too cheesy, besides the silly monster in it. Which, like I've said before, I don't really care about. But the grand scope of it and the prime directive and those sorts of situations that they're bringing up, really, really great. And the final closing, Assignment Earth, I thought was really fun. That was another episode that brought up some heavy issues with, do we avert atomic warfare? Do we interfere? All this sort of stuff. Too bad the spinoff never happened, but we did at least get a third season of Star Trek, and and then the booming franchise that came afterwards. But I really like that one. My 3 favorite funny episodes. Of course, Trouble with Tribbles. Probably the number 1 fan favorite from what I've gathered. Hysterical. I remember seeing bits of that as a kid, but not really remembering the plot. As an adult, awesome. Just, it was so much fun to see these actors who played really serious characters most of the time get to be silly. And then almost the flip of that with Scotty, who's kind of always been a silly character in some way. Not necessarily a a bumbling fool or a clown or harlequin type character, but he was always a little more jolly than the rest. And we see him start a bar fight. I love that. Oh my gosh, that was just wonderful. Trouble with Tribbles, holy crap. I will probably be watching that episode again sometime soon. It was so much fun. After that, Mud. Again, going into this episode, I thought I was going to hate it because I didn't like the first episode that had Harry Mudd in it. I think they saw the potential of that character, and what a hysterical episode that really was. Just a lot of fun. Just a lot of fun. And it was a real shame that the actor who played Mudd died shortly before he was going to reprise that role in The Next Generation. I think that would have been spectacular to see. And again, he's the only character, from what I understand, who makes multiple appearances in episodes, at least in the original series. I know, Spock's father is in some of the movies and stuff like that. And that actor actually played multiple characters, if I'm not mistaken. So, Trek fans, if I am, please correct me on that. Anyway, and the last one, A Piece of the Action. Again, that episode was not only funny from start to finish, but it was also really good action. The gangster motif was wonderful, seeing Kirk and Spock try to blend in with their pinstripe suits and their hats and the Thompson submachine guns and everything. It was wonderful. Oh gosh, that episode is so much fun. But unlike Mud or even Trouble with Tribbles, it does have a little bit more of a serious story going on. We know they're going to get out of it in the end and all is going to be good, but how they do it is really fun. So, Amok Time, Mirror Mirror, Mud, Trouble with Tribbles, Piece of the Action, Private Little War, and Assignment Earth. Those, I would say, were my favorite episodes. Now, for the ones I absolutely detested, I got 3. Number 1, Cat's Paw. I still have no idea what the heck that episode was about. It was just bad. It was poorly made. And this is not something I'm chalking up to scenery or costumes. It was bad writing and bad directing. And Wolf in the Fold, same thing. That just the way that degraded women, especially on Star Trek, that was so big into civil rights. Like I said in my review, that wasn't just like a step back. That was a huge leap backwards and a stumble and then a roll down a hill. Interesting enough, both of those were written by the same guy, who apparently also wrote Psycho, the book, which, of course, Alfred Hitchcock made that semi-decent movie out of. So, yeah, I was really surprised when I read that. I've never read the book, so I don't know how it compares to... I know Hitchcock's movie is a true masterpiece of not just the suspense, horror, thriller genre, but in movies in general. So, yeah, I was surprised that, if you had a writer who wrote that, why weren't these episodes better? Maybe he's a one-trick pony. Maybe the book Psycho is really bad. I don't know. If you've read it, please comment. Let me know. I'd love to get more information on that. And the last one is what I just reviewed, Bread and Circuses. Again, that was just a cluster of a movie. It was a total train wreck in some ways, that they took elements that we've seen in all the other episodes and they tried to put them together, and oh gosh, it was bad. I went back and I really thought about it, and I thought it was really terrible. So, those are my favorites. Those are my least favorites. What else about this season? One, we get to see the cast expanded more. Kirk, William Shatner. This is now what I'm seeing. Everybody's talking about the William Shatner acting. It's fun. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. I don't think it's as awful as the caricatures that people have of it. Yes, it can be really hokey at times, but I think it's kind of charming. And he's this handsome-looking guy, and it works with him. I don't think that acting would work with other people. But then again, maybe that is so ingrained into our collective psyche as a culture. That William Shatner ceases to be an actor, and William Shatner is a character, much like Sean Connery. You know, people will just put Sean Connery, especially the later years, just put him in a movie and he's going to play himself. Al Pacino kind of gets that way at times. Willem Dafoe, I feel, is that, there's actors that Christopher Walken, there's a great example. Yeah, when was the last time Christopher Walken actually played a character? He just plays himself. Anyway, I digress on that. I thought William Shatner was great as Kirk. And of course, that's one of the things that makes this series really wonderful, is to see him and sort of the hammy acting. Leonard Nimoy as Spock. I get it. I understand why he stole the show, and there was that big kind of falling out between him and Shatner for a long time. He's great. He is really wonderful in that role. I don't know what else to say about it, because I don't know much about Leonard Nimoy as a man beyond him just doing Spock. Which, at some point, I am going to read his book, I Am Not Spock. And then apparently there was a follow-up to it many, many years later called I Am Spock. I would love to really hear more what this man has to say about this role that has defined him. And Shatner, has gotten away with being in other shows and movies. Part of it is him playing himself. Leonard Nimoy, I kind of feel bad for in that element, that he will always be known as Spock, and that's all he can ever be known as in some way. Which is, I think, something I'll do another video on at some point. These actors who kind of get stuck just only doing one thing. George Takei, very much that way for a long time. He was Sulu, and I guess with the past few years, seeing him in Heroes, playing the father of Hero in that. That was nice to see him come back, little cameos here and there. But a lot of it was him just kind of playing himself. Like I saw an episode of Psych that he was in where he plays George Takei at a science fiction conference. He's been able to kind of reinvent himself as the king of Facebook the last year or so, which is wonderful. DeForest Kelley as McCoy. Probably my favorite actor. And I think that's one of the things that kind of bugged me with this season is when he wasn't there. I really felt that loss. In some ways, he gets overshadowed by Shatner and Nimoy with the Kirk and Spock characters that are the two leads, and he's that third wheel. But I think he's what makes the show really work. You take him out, and you lose so much. Kirk is the brawn. Spock is the brain. McCoy is the heart of that trinity there. And every time he's on screen, I am enjoying it. Even in the bad episodes, when he's there, really great. Scotty, again, a lot of fun when he's on screen. And I love the episodes when he takes over the Enterprise, when the Trinity is down on the planet with some red shirts getting shot up. Scotty just brings this charm to the screen that this guy just doesn't really get stressed out too much in some situations that would normally be tearing everybody else apart. Wonderful. Like I commented on Sulu a little bit before, but I want to say again, he's another character who I really like, but I think we saw more of him in season 1 than we did in season 2. And that was a little disappointing. Chekhov, the new character, they bring in this young kid. I guess because of the Beatles and the Monkees and that sort of stuff that was really popular at that time. They wanted to kind of get a foothold into that demographic with hey, here's this good-looking young kid. Let's put him on this show. Did it work? I don't know. But he was funny. There were some episodes, like the one, I don't remember what it's called, but they go down, there's the Greek god, I think it was Apollo or something. It was a pretty dumb episode. But Chekhov just running his mouth. A total smartass mode. Wonderful. he's a character I can't wait to see more from. He really is funny. I think he's one of these characters who knows he's adorable and uses that to his advantage. And Uhura, what can you say about Nichelle Nichols? Just gorgeous. Absolutely amazing to watch her. Yeah, her character doesn't really do much, but we all know the stories about, you know, her getting that role and keeping that role and meeting Dr. King and all that sort of stuff. And I really am in awe of watching her because she is a great actress. She has a wonderful voice. She is just very charming to watch. So, that was the main cast there. Overall, this season, I am really happy. Like I said, I think the good outweighs the bad. Yeah, there were some really bad episodes, but you know what? Every show has got bad episodes. I think, for the most part. Especially for a show of this time period. So, that's my feelings on Season 2. My feelings on doing Trek Year. Well, due to ridiculous amounts of technical difficulty, I am so far behind. I think I honestly should be like almost done with Next Generation or halfway through it by this point. So I am really, really far behind. Am I going to be able to do this all in a year? At this point, I don't think I am. But I'm still going to keep up with it. I'm going to try to do at least one review a day, maybe two. I'm just going to keep plugging away and keep reviewing it. I've gotten some great messages from people. I know people have been sharing this stuff around. Please, please, please continue to pass this around. The more people we can involve in this community, the better it is for me, the more energy I'll have to do this. Because I know people are liking it. Because I'm logging on and I'm seeing people are watching it. And like I said, I'm getting messages back and whatnot. But I want to do more with this. I want to start doing some guest reviews like I did with Chris Gunn when I was up in New York. So, if you want to do a review with me, either side by side, doing a crossover, whatever, to crossover for the other internet reviewers out there, please, please, please let me know. I would love to be doing that stuff because I'm having a lot of fun with this. I know that it seems kind of silly. Let's watch this guy talk about episodes of Star Trek, but hey, I'm having fun, and I think other people are. So, let me know, and I'm going to get ready to go watch some Season 3. So, you guys, take care. Thanks for watching, and I will see you later.